my dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. Today I've got another book talk video to share with you guys. I originally had one book talk video planned, and now as I was coming to sit down, I just sort of changed my mind and we're doing something different today. Today I thought I would share with you some of the books that I've been given as gifts that hold really special meanings to me. As a known book lover, I get books for gifts all the time, which I love. And these are just a few that have special stories attached or just really fond memories, and I thought I would share them with you today. So, the first book is called Stephen King on Writing. This is the 10th anniversary edition of this book. This is a book that Stephen King wrote about being a writer. The first half of the book is kind of anecdotes from his own life, and then the second half of the book is called The Toolbox, and in it he gives just basically really helpful tips. As a Stephen King fan, I loved it. As a writer, I loved it, and it was just such a great book. Now the thing about this book, as I said, it was the 10th anniversary edition, and this was sent to me one year by my uncle, who has, for as long as I can remember being a book lover, he has really fostered that, and I've received so many wonderful books from him over the years. I can remember even being like 12 years old and him giving me the complete collection of the Bronte sisters, and he even wrote in the front at that time, like, it might be too old for you at this point, but down the line you'll love it. And it's just, they're books that I love, and he's just always fostered that. So when I got this book, I had a little chuckle to myself because I think it kind of showed how well he knows me, because I have 3 other copies of this book. Not the 10th anniversary edition, but 3 other copies of various editions of this book because I love it so much. It's just such a special book to me. I never get tired of reading it. And when I opened it, I just smiled so much to myself because it was the perfect gift. And as always, you know, so yeah, this one, you can see on the front there, it says Christmas 2010. And I loved it and appreciate it so much, and now that's my go-to copy when I want to read more about Stephen King or reread about Stephen King. The next book that I want to share with you guys, this isn't so much a sentimental favorite as it's just a fun story and just a really fond memory that I have. This book is The Tropic of Cancer by Henry Miller. This used to be a library book originally, and I had taken it out from the library probably two, 3 times, and this specific time when I was going to take this out, the librarian, who was this very nice man who I had kind of formed a nice bit of like friendship, acquaintanceship with, he was getting ready to check it out for me, and then he said, you know what? He said, this is one of the books we were getting ready to donate to the church book sale. He said, but I want you to have it. He said, because I can't imagine anyone finding it in the church sale and loving it more than you clearly do. So he took off like all the library stuff on the inside, like the stamp place, and he gave it to me, and that was so fun to me, and I couldn't believe it. I remember leaving the bookstore with it and just being so excited that he had done that. Next up, this is a very special book to me. It's called The 12 Golden Threads, Lessons for Successful Living from Grandma's Quilt. I believe that I've probably talked about this book on this channel before, but probably probably months ago, probably last year, and probably around this time. But this book was a gift that my grandmother gave me. Now, we lived in Newfoundland for a long time, and when I was 15 years old, we were getting ready to leave Newfoundland with my parents and my sister, and I was going to be moving all the way across the country up north to the Northwest Territories to Yellowknife. And this was what she gave me to take with me when I was leaving. And It's just a beautiful little book. The story's very nice. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's like a quilting group that's made up of this grandmother, the mother, and then I think like 2 children. And they quilt and they talk and they share life lessons, and it's just a great story. And this was from my grandmother. She wrote on the inside, so it's 1996 is when she gave this to me. And it just says, "To Shannon from Nan with love. I'll miss you." And yes, I missed her. She's not with us anymore. She died 2 years after this, but and just leaving that day was so difficult, saying goodbye to her and my grandfather and extended family members, and it was so difficult. And even as we were driving from the small town we lived in to the big city with the airport, we got into a car accident. We hit a moose. The moose went through the front windshield. Miraculously, nobody was badly injured. And I think we were all in shock, and my grandfather stayed there with the car, and my aunt and my grandmother. Some good Samaritan driving along the highway stopped, and he took us to the airport so I could go. And in all the hubbub, I left this book behind. I'd forgotten it. And when I got on the airplane, I was like, oh no, like I started to have a little bit of a panic because I had left the book behind. And anyway, of course, she very quickly mailed it to me, but this book is just extra special because of that. And who it was from. It's just such a special book, and I will cherish it forever. Finally, we have this book that is a book of poetry. It's a volume of poetry called Blinking with Fists by Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan, for anyone who doesn't know, he is the frontman of the 90s rock band The Smashing Pumpkins. Growing up, I was obsessed with them. In my 20s, I actually ended up working for him for a little bit. Just such a fun situation. I loved it. Anyway, when this book came out, shortly after it came out, I was traveling from Ontario to Newfoundland, where my mom was living at the time, and she was staying in this little cabin sort of out in the middle of nowhere, and it was November and there was snow, and a few places that I know of get snow in the volume of Newfoundland. They get so much snow. It's so heavy. There's so much of it. Like doors sometimes end up being covered. So we were kind of just snowed in. And one night it was snowing outside. The fireplace was on, and we were just sort of curled up on the couch. And we took turns reading poems from this book and talking about them and talking about what we thought they meant. And it's one of my favorite memories with my mom. We just had such a great time together. My daughter was there. She was asleep. She was like 3 at the time, and it was just such a fun night. And I absolutely love that memory. And so whenever I see this book, it always, of course, makes me think of that night. So there you have it. Those are 4 books that, for various reasons, just mean so much to me on a personal level. And I just wanted to share them with you guys. I'd love to know in the comments down below, what's a book that you love because of the people or memories attached to them? And before I go, I just want to give a couple of shout outs to some channels that I've been loving lately. The first 2 are kind of related. They're sort of run by the same family, and that's Muminspire and Muminspire Kids. I will link both of those channels down below. They're both such great channels, and they're all such wonderful people. The first channel is run by the mom, and she puts up some really inspiring videos, just some really nice, wonderful videos to watch. And then the kids channel are her daughters, and they just make such sweet content. They do like unboxings and nursery rhymes and a bit of vlogging, and it's just so much fun to watch. So I'm going to link both of those channels down below. And also, I'm going to have to look down at this one because I know I'm going to mispronounce your name, sweetheart, and I'm sorry. It's Anale Mauricio. I hope I'm saying that somewhat right. Anyway, this woman, she is absolutely wonderful. She vlogs her life, her and her daughter, her family. They're just wonderful, feel-good kind of vlogs. If you love watching vlogs, I do. I love it. Definitely go and check her out. So that's going to do it for today, you guys. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye!